WCEG Talk Radio. We are in the city of Lake City, and I am here with Miss Faye Spalding, Lieutenant Faye Spalding with the Barrow County Police Department, Sheriff's Department. And how are you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you for having me here.
Yes, ma'am. Let me just say, I am honored to be in your presence. As I was just telling you, I've never met a woman lieutenant before. And so I know that you've been through a lot and gone through a lot to obtain that title. So what does it mean to you to be at an event where we are recognizing the women in public safety that is brought on by D. Hill?
Oh, it's just an awesome event for us. We do work with a lot of male counterparts, but just to recognize us as women in law enforcement, it's an honor because it's a different role when we're talking about moms being law enforcement.
Right. So you said you've been in law enforcement 26 years?
Yes.
So what are some of the challenges that you faced being in law enforcement as a woman?
I would think the challenge that I had as being a mom, trying to turn off being that police officer once you get home with your children, not being in that hyper-vigilant mode all the time, and just understanding you're a mom, or you're a sister, or you're an auntie or something, man. And I think that's just been making that transition daily from law enforcement until being a mom.
Okay. And so has it been, what are some of the things that you guys do differently than the men in order to prepare for your day?
Well, if you are a mother and you still have children at home, which my son is an adult now, you still have to do the thing of getting the kids ready for work, school, making sure homework is done, making sure lunches are done, and all of that before you actually start preparing yourself, your mind, and your body to put your uniform on and your protective gear and saying a little prayer to ask God to bring you back home. So I just think just being a mom.
And what role, you just mentioned God, what role does your faith play in what you do as a police officer and going out and the kind of dangers that you all have to face every day?
Oh, it's a major role for me. The moment I get up, like I said, my son is an adult now. So, but the moment I get up, I'm having some type of gospel or some type of word in there to feed my soul because, once we get to work, we're always dealing with the evilest things in this world. So I have to feed my soul as soon as I get up in the morning so I can continue on that path and throughout the day. Right. I continue to pray. It's an all day, every day thing. Lord, please help me.
Right.
So it plays a major role.
Right.
Major role.
Me, myself, it's nothing like a police lieutenant, but I'm an Uber driver. And I know I pray every morning when I get up and go out just for protection and guiding me to the right places to maximize my day, but also guiding me away from the potential dangers and potential evils that you may face. So I can only imagine that in the position of a police officer that has to be like tenfold for y'all on a regular basis.
Most definitely. And not also for me, but the ones that are under my supervision too. And the one that's in our entire agency, because what affects me is going to affect them. It may affect them in a different way, but our goal is always to come home safe at night to our families.
Now that sounds like somebody I wouldn't mind working for. She is concerned with the people that work underneath her and with her. So do you think that women get enough recognition? Like this is an event specifically to recognize the women in public safety, the sheriffs, the state patrol, the police officers. Do you think the women get enough recognition? Be honest.
I hate to say that, and I'm going to be honest, and no, but it has changed. We have an organization now, the Women in Law Enforcement of Georgia, that it was in existence some time ago, way back, like when I first started, but now it's coming back. And so we're having different trainings for women in law enforcement. We're having different get-togethers like this for women in law enforcement. So now, we're being heard a lot more. Okay,
and being heard is good. Yeah. And so do you think, is there a steady pace of women coming into law enforcement, or do you think you need to bring more women into the position?
It's a steady flow of coming in, but I think we can do more. Okay. I think we can recruit more women into law enforcement.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. We're going to wrap this up with Lieutenant Faye Spalding from the Barrow County Sheriff's Department office, and we appreciate the work that you do. Thank you for coming out today, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. WCEG, we're in Lake City. We're here for a wonderful event to celebrate women in public safety, brought to you by Miss D. Hill. We're in here. We're having a good time. We got a DJ. We have pictures being taken. We have the honorees being recognized. It's a wonderful, wonderful event. If you're not here, you should be here. Come on down, Lake City, Georgia. Yes. Forgot I turned it off. Good afternoon. This is Vincent Cheeks with WCEG Wood. We are here in Lake City, Georgia, and we are at the event to recognize women in public safety. I am here with Sergeant Gassaway. How are you doing, ma'am?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
I am doing absolutely great. So tell me which police department you're with and how long have you been serving?
I am with the Forest Park Police Department, and I've been there 12 years.
You've been there 12 years. So what do you think of an event like this that is specifically to honor women in public safety?
I think that we've come a long way, and I'm absolutely honored to be a part of this. This wasn't around when I started.
Right. Okay. So you say we've come a long way. What exactly do you mean by that?
I think society has come a long way as to realizing that it's not a man's job, that women can handle it too and do just as well.
I totally agree with that, and I want to thank you for your 12 years of service. In your 12 years, what are some of the challenges that you've seen as a police officer and as a woman specifically?
I've seen that society thinks that police are one way when we are others, and unfortunately we all get grouped into one group as police officers when not all of us are the same. Not all people are bad people. They just do, people make mistakes. And I think if we treated people more like human beings and stuff and not get grouped together and treat people as individuals, then I think society would start changing a little bit.
So society, you heard Sergeant Gassaway, we have to treat each other better, basically, and treat each other as human beings with compassion and understanding,
and be
right?
Kind. People judge people so quickly. You don't know those people's circumstances or what got them there. A little kindness is not going to cost you anything.
Little kindness is free. So do you think that we're in a good place as far as the number of women in public safety, or do you think there's room for growth?
There's always room for growth, but I like to see that we do get a lot more females. We've recently hired several females, so I think that females are realizing this is a great job, fun to do.
Okay, and what are some of the things you're telling some of your applicants that are coming in, or anyone that would make this job attractive to them?
You get to help people. It's not always about putting somebody in jail. Never looked at my job as a chance to arrest someone. Okay. It's you sincerely get to help people. And, someone that's in their time of need that's contemplating suicide, and you get to be the one to talk them off the ledge. I mean, you've made an impact on that person's life.
There you have it, Officer Gassaway, Sergeant Gassaway. She's here to help the people. She's sincere, and like she said, be kind. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Enjoy.
Yes,
I think so. Good afternoon. I am Vince Cheeks with WCEG Wood, the Hollywood of the South. We are here in Lake City, Georgia. I am here with Officer Thomas. How are you, ma'am?
I am doing great.
Please tell me your full name and what police department you are here representing.
Well, my name is Jasmine Thomas. I'm currently a police officer at the Forest Park Police Department in the city of Forest Park, located in Clayton County.
All right, and how long have you been serving?
October will make 1 year that I have been on the force. I am quite new, but that's okay.
Oh, wow, she's a newbie. So let me ask you this. So as a new officer, do y'all do anything, like, is there any type of breaking in process for the new officers?
Yes, there is. Everywhere you go, it's going to be a fresh meat process. But it's okay because it's all fun and games. It break you in. It make you learn. It helps you. And when somebody else come in, you're no longer fresh meat because you've graduated. So I've graduated as of last week.
Well, congratulations and happy anniversary. You said 1 year? Okay, that is wonderful. So, in your 1 year, what are some of the things that you enjoy about being a police officer?
Well, first and foremost, I enjoy talking to people. I enjoy helping the community. I just enjoy being around kids, influencing them, and talking to them on the day-to-day to make sure that they're doing the right things and making the right choices.
You heard that, children? Do the right thing and make the right choices, okay? We don't want you to be in the back of that car, okay? Oh, Officer Thomas say she will get you. Don't play no games now. So, what do you think of an event like this? Hold on, we're gonna pause. Hey, we're here in Lake City, Georgia, and we are here to recognize the women in public safety. That is our police officers, state patrol, corrections, anything that you can think of a woman in public safety is doing. I'm here with Officer Thomas, and I was just asking her, what do you think of an event like this that is specifically put on to honor women in public safety?
I think it's great. I think it's great that different individuals will find the time to get together to create event for all of the women police officers in the community. I feel like that is really big, and I just appreciate the fact that the public and everyone behind this event took the time to come out and recognize us as a whole.
Yes, and I absolutely love it myself, and I want to thank you for your year of service, and I can see plenty more years ahead of you because I see you got a great smile and a great spirit, so I know that you do well with the students. Speaking of great, I want to ask you about your great hairdo. I absolutely love it, but I must say I was a little surprised to see a police officer with locks for one, and then you have it styled. And so I know it's probably the first time I've seen it, and probably other people have seen it also. So is that, does that speak to the forward thinking and the progressiveness of police departments these days?
Honestly, right now, we're trying to recruit any and everybody, and I feel like a lot of departments have strong policies when it comes to hair, and I feel like your hair should not define you and who you are, and your hair will never stop you from being able to perform a job. And I feel as if if more people joined and got on board with canceling out some of the hair policies, they could recruit more people, and the people they have could be more comfortable and be able to express themselves. Right. So I love my dreads, and I have them wrapped up now, but they're kind of long. Okay. But it doesn't stop me from performing any activities that I'm faced with. Any encounters, nothing. I perform my job just like a person with a bald head.
Okay, and I got you. And I think it's absolutely wonderful. But the first time when I saw you and the other officer that came in with locks, I was like, oh, police departments.
That's what we got to do sometimes, you know?
Yeah, I was just like, the police departments are becoming a little bit more progressive, and I can see that. I even saw a police officer with tattoos of like a sleeve.
We have sleeves. Some agencies allow sleeves because, I mean, we're out with the public every day. Right. We meet 90% of the public, and they have a tattoo. At least one. Yeah. So it's nothing that nobody would be offended of. Now, of course, there will be no gang signs, negative things. But as far as art, pictures, it's not a problem.
This is art. This is absolutely art, and you look beautiful in your uniform with your locks. I think it's wonderful, and I think more departments need to do that because, like you said, it can be a hindrance for people that actually want to work in that area. So
I kind of turned the job down because I refused to cut my hair. Right. I shouldn't have to cut my hair to show you what kind of person I am genuinely. Right. That don't have anything to do with my hair.
I totally agree, and believe me, if you can believe it, I went through a little something like that in corporate America myself, but that's a whole nother story. We ain't gonna get into that. So any young women or young ladies out there who may be thinking about becoming a woman in public service, do you have any advice for them?
Yes. I was faced with a lot of no's. You shouldn't do that, or it's a bad job right now. All I can honestly say is Don't let anything deter you from doing what you really want to do in life. Believe in yourself. If you have a goal, find a way to reach your goal, and don't let anyone stop you from being who you really want to be or being who you really are.
Wise words from Officer Thomas. We thank you for your service, ma'am. Enjoy the event. Have a great day. Thank you. WCEG Wood, Vince Cheeks, we're signing off. Peace. Good afternoon. I am Vincent Cheeks with WCEG Wood, the Hollywood of the South. I am here in Lake City, Georgia at the event to recognize women in public safety. I am here with Officer Sparks. Hi, how are you, ma'am?
I'm good. How are you?
I am doing absolutely wonderful. Tell the people your full name and what police department you're representing and how long you've been there.
I am Corporal Brittany Sparks with the Forest Park Police Department, and I have been employed there for almost 4 years now.
Almost 4 years. Corporal Sparks. Well, thank you for being here and thank you for your service, ma'am. What do you think of an event like this that is specifically put on to recognize women in public safety?
I think it is absolutely amazing simply because we don't get enough recognition in what we do and how we do it. It is tough being a woman in law enforcement. The direction and the avenue and the challenges that we face are just totally different from what some of the male figures face, not to take anything away from them. However, the leadership in law enforcement as far as women, it needs to be more of. Okay. So this event, give us the opportunity to put our faces out there, let people see who we are, what direction we're going in, what we're trying to do, and it's, build and be better, and encourage this young generation that's coming along. Okay.
So you mentioned you think there could be more women in the leadership positions in police departments. What do you think needs to happen to facilitate that?
I really don't know what needs to happen, but like I said, I look at it from every angle. Guys are always macho.
Right.
Go in and put my foot down. Women, it's just in our nature to be caring and compassionate and, be more patient and take our time with certain things, because not everything is to be handled in a macho way. Not saying that all males are that way, no, but there needs to be, there needs to be more female supervisors and leadership roles. Okay. Not just in the office, but on the road.
So being a woman in law enforcement, do you at all at times feel any pressure to be more assertive or more macho, as you put it?
Absolutely not. I am who I am, and I just be me. The people that I work with will tell you that I'm compassionate about what I do, and I'm firm in what I do. So, if there's a point where I have to put my foot down, my foot is just down, But, when it's time for me to be compassionate and understanding and caring, I wear that role, and that's just what it is. So, it's just a part of the job.
Officer Sparks, firm and compassionate Officer Sparks. Now, you mentioned a second ago that you said, I am who I am. And I have to say, when you walked in earlier, I noticed you because your locks are very long and they stand out, and I think they're absolutely beautiful. And the first thing I said when I saw you and the other officer was like, oh, the police department they're getting a little progressive now. So do you see that happening? Do you see the police departments becoming less stringent and becoming more progressive?
Personally, I don't think that any department or any job should judge you or, make you feel that you have to wear your hair a certain way. A relaxer just doesn't work for me. Right. That's just not my thing. I like my natural hair. So, because I have locks, there are guidelines that I have to follow as well, keeping it off my collar and all that. So, my hair doesn't define me, but it's a part of me.
My hair doesn't. I like that because, believe it or not, I've had some issues in corporate America with my hair, and I said the same thing. Like, my hair doesn't define me. My hair doesn't let you know how intelligent that I am. And so I knew, for me growing up, there's always been this uniformity with police officers and just having it cut short and what have you. So it's a breath of fresh air to me. And for me, another thing I said was, that's someone I can relate to, because your hair, it looks exactly like mine. You know what I mean? And if there were officers lined up that I had to go talk to, you would more than likely be the first one that I would gravitate to, because I have that relatability. Do you see that when you're out doing your job at all?
Absolutely. Definitely in the younger crowds, the younger black males, younger black females. I mean, hey, they can talk to me. You know, they walk up and they like, okay, you look like me. Right. You can relate to me. You can understand where I'm coming from and what I'm about to say. And you know, at times I can definitely understand. You know, but like I said, my hair doesn't define me; it's just a part of me. So, you know, you may look at me one way and someone else may look at me a different way because of my hair, but it's just a part of me. Well,
again, let me just say, I think you look absolutely beautiful. You got the uniform looking crisp. You on your thing. So let me ask you this: for any women who may be considering a career in law enforcement, what advice would you give them?
The best advice I can give a woman looking to get into law enforcement is find another female that's in law enforcement. Okay. Just get you a mentor. Okay. And find out the truth in it. You know, the TV show's one thing, but the job is a totally different animal. So, you know, that's the best I can give you, because a male may tell you you might not be strong enough for this job, but another female is going to tell you if you want to do this, go for it. Right. You know, I mean, you have to have compassion and a heart for people, period. I don't care what anybody else say, but you have to have a heart and some compassion for people, because you're serving, you're protecting. It's not about the skin color, it's not about male or female, but you have to have those things initially. But know for sure this is what you want to do, because it's not one of those things, well, okay, I'm going to step in and I'm going to jump back out. Right. No, it's not like one of those jobs. Definitely not retail, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, I would say definitely get a female mentor and, you know, get a better understanding of things.
Okay, there you have it from Officer Sparks. Thank you very much, ma'am. We appreciate your service. You look beautiful. Enjoy the event. Thank you. Good afternoon. I am Vincent Cheeks with WCEG Wood, the Hollywood of the South. We are here in Lake City, Georgia, to celebrate the Women in Public Safety, brought to you by Miss D. Hill. I am here, speaking of Lake City, I am here with the police chief, Mr. Whitmire. Nice to meet you, sir.
You too, sir.
Yes, sir. How are you?
I'm good.
Thank you for being here, and thank you for your service. I understand you told me you've been with Lake City for 1 year, correct?
Correct. Just a little over a year now.
All righty. And you've been in law enforcement total for 40 years.
40. We'll be 40 in November.
Oh, okay. Well, congratulations.
Yeah, we're getting close.
Yes, sir. And thank you for 40 years of service. That's a long time.
It is long. It's a couple of lifetimes.
So, what do you think of an event like this being put on to specifically recognize women in public safety?
I think it's wonderful. I think, number one, an event to recognize law enforcement in general is really appreciated in this day, because I think that we lose sight sometimes that the vast majority of the public still supports law and order, still supports law enforcement, because all we hear from is the vocal minority that are you know, with a negative publicity and a negative rhetoric. And so it's really good to see the public, the community come out and support us like this. Right. But specifically, as a matter of fact, the lieutenant from Clayton County just mentioned a while ago, and I was thinking the same thing, that it's actually very challenging for women. Number one, this has traditionally been a male-dominated profession. Correct. And so it's a tough thing for women to break into. In many cases, when I started 40 years ago, they really weren't as respected or treasured as law enforcement officers as they are now. I think over the years they have proven their worth, and I think that they do make some very special sacrifices, because traditionally the women are the mothers and the wives that take care of the homes, and they're still kind of in a lot of ways expected to do that and still fulfill a career in a profession that requires odd hours, emergency calls, sometimes not getting off on time, and those kinds of things, court, all those things. So I think it's been very, very tough, and I think that they do face a special challenge that maybe the rest of us don't, and I think it's great that we are honoring them specifically, I think, because they are, we'd like to encourage more to come into the profession.
Okay, and in encouraging more people to come into the profession, how do you make this particular profession, which you just said has been traditionally known as a male profession, how do you entice them and make this type of work attractive to women?
I think events like this are very important in that. Number one, we highlight the fact that they can be successful in this field, and we highlight the areas that they are, in some cases, they're better at some of the things that we have to do than the male officers are. Okay. And so I think that that's the key, is to show that there is a career for them. And I think over at least the last 10 to 15 years, it has become more evident that there are, because the numbers are increasing. Okay. It's still in a lot of ways male dominated, but you see now a lot of female police chiefs around the country, okay, even in the metro area. Okay. In the state, you see command staff that are female. So it's becoming not as unusual a thing as it used to be. Okay. And I think that in itself is good in enticing them coming, so they see that, okay, we can succeed there. Okay.
And I noticed, I talked to a couple of the officers that had locks in their hair, which for me, I thought was very progressive, because I had never seen police officer with locks. And I saw a couple of weeks ago a police officer with a tattoo, a sleeve tattoo, and I had never seen that before. And so I'm trying to figure out and understand what's going on. Is it that the police departments are becoming more progressive, or they're just not looking at those things under a microscope like they used to so much?
I think it's both. I think that police departments are kind of paramilitary organizations. Right. You have to be. You have to have the chain of command. You have to have the obedience to orders and those kinds of things. So we have, in many cases, over many years, have followed that military order. And so you had the military style haircuts, and there's actually some safety issues with long hair and those kinds of things. I mean, this gives, if you happen to be in a fight, it gives them something else to grab a hold of, and those kinds of things. But we are becoming a little more progressive, and still in a lot of departments, females who are allowed to have longer hair, when they're at work, they must put it up in a bun or something like that. And that's, again, it's the reason we wear clip-on ties. Right. You know, we don't want to have them something. Yeah. So it's a safety issue, but at the same time, we are becoming a little more open, because if we exclude a lot of folks because they look a little different or they feel a little bit, then we may be excluding a lot of really good police officers who could be an asset to the community, asset to the department. Even tattoos. We have changed. I've got a few tattoos, but when I got the tattoos, I made sure they were above my shirt sleeves so that I could hide them and those kinds of things. But now they're everywhere, and that, you know, a tattoo doesn't necessarily make you a bad person. It does make you. A lot of departments have said, "Gosh, it just doesn't look professional." Right. And I'm an old school guy. Okay. I would tend to agree. So I have been pulled into this, kicking and screaming in some cases. And like our department, we allow beards. We allow the kind of beard that you have. We don't allow the full ones because, again, there's a safety issue, and it's hard to, you know, I want to make sure that they still look professional and they still look manicured. Right. So the tattoo thing has been slow in coming, because in a lot of ways, especially with the sleeves and the things like that, a lot of people think that it doesn't look professional. Right. But we're changing a little bit. We don't look at those things like we used to anymore. Right. So the police departments have had to become a little more accepting and a little more progressive if they wanted to keep good people and they want to become part of the community. Right. Because our community has tattoos, our community has braids, our community has beards, and so we have to kind of show that we're still part of the community too. Like Sir Robert Peel said, the people are the police and the police are the people. We're the only ones that are actually paid to keep the peace, but we're all part of the same community. Okay. So we have to be more progressive, and I think that's a good thing.
I think it is also, because I told one of the ladies that if you were coming into my community when I was younger, you would probably be the one I would gravitate to because you look more relatable. Right. And so I agree that it does help bridge that gap between the officers in the community when you aren't being so stringent on those little things that don't really, like the officer said, her intelligence and her ability to do her job does not lie within her. But to your point, I like that you said it is a safety issue, because the longer the hair is, someone could definitely grab that and just.
We still have to have some rules because of the job we do. Right. But we can make allowances for that as long as it doesn't interfere with the job that we do, and I think that's the key. Okay. If you can balance the appearance with the job that you have to do. And I've always said too that the more professional an officer looks, the less times he's going to have to fight.
Right.
If he walks in and he looks like he's got himself together and he's in shape and he's all that, then people are going to get him respect. And well, if he comes in and he's got long hair and a beard down to here and his belly's hanging up, I mean, it's a little bit tougher. It's a little bit tougher to garner that respect that we really need.
Gotcha.
So there are some issues there too. But at the same time, as long as we can balance those two, I don't see any problem with it.
Okay.
Matter of fact, when I first got here in the Lake City, they knew that I was been around for a while and kind of an old school guy, and they had a loose beard policy.
Okay.
So I heard when I met with each individual officer when I first got here, I heard through the grapevine that was one of the first things that they were concerned about. Okay. Is he going to make us shave our beards? So I told them no. As long as y'all keep them neat looking and everything, I'm all right with them.
All righty. And for any women that may be considering coming into a public safety position, what advice would you have for them?
Gosh, there's so much. Don't let it be intimidating. A lot of women say, gosh, I could never do that.
Right.
But, women in a lot of ways are stronger emotionally than men are in some cases. And I don't want to generalize. I mean, right. But at the same time, in some cases, they are stronger. I mean, good gosh, they give birth.
They do.
I mean.
Absolutely. I totally agree.
If men had to give birth, the population would die off. We're just not that tough.
Right.
So I think that's the thing, is that they're emotionally and physically stronger than they think they are. And they have to be ready to move into a profession where they have to be that way. Okay. But there are but they can there's still a soft side too. Every police officer, men and women, that get in this field, they like to drive fast, they like the blue lights, they like to shoot, they like to do all that stuff. But deep down, they got into it because they care. And you can be tough, you can be physically and emotionally tough, and still care.
Right.
And still take care of folks. And I think that's where women excel.
Okay. Well, thank you. Physically and emotionally tough. Thank you very much, Chief Whitmire. I appreciate your 40 years of service.
Thank you.
Enjoy. Have a great day. Yes, sir. Thank you. Vince Cheeks with WCEG Wood signing off. Peace. Good afternoon. I am Vince Cheeks with WCEG Wood, the Hollywood of the South. We are here in Lake City, Georgia, at the event to recognize women in public safety. I am here with the event's organizer, Ms. Dee Hill, and she's going to tell us a little bit about herself and how this event came about. Ms. Hill, how are you?
I'm fine. I'm wonderful. Thank you all for being a part of this event today.
Yes, ma'am. I think it is absolutely wonderful to recognize our women the way that you're doing. Tell everyone how you came about with the idea to do such an event.
Well, I believe in giving people their flowers while they are alive, and I reached out to House of Representative Lynthia Stovall and told her that this is what I wanted to do because I felt that it was much needed in the community. And they come out and they put their life on the line for us every day, leaving their family behind and thinking of us, like I had said before. And I just wanted to just let them know how much I appreciate that and how much the community appreciate them doing that.
Yes, we do definitely appreciate them. I've talked to a couple of the officers. They're very honored to be here. They're happy to have such an event like this put on for them. And if I'm correct, did I hear you say this is the first one?
Yes, this is the very first one. I said that if I have a good turnout, that, I will continue to do it each year. But my ultimate goal, I would like for this to be all over social media so every state could adopt this and do this for their officers as well.
Oh, so you have a grander plan for just this specific event. You're trying to take this countrywide?
What they call it when somebody grabs something and somebody else do it,
You created a model that can be recreated and spread across different areas.
Yes.
Okay. And I understand you have a career in radio. Did you do anything with law enforcement, or this was just something near and dear to your heart?
This was just something near and dear to my heart, especially being women. Even women in radio, the first radio personality was telling me, female personality was telling me that because she was a woman, women had to be off the radio at a certain time.
Wow.
And, it's like women are always somewhat put to the side. So I wanted to, you know, let the officers know that their life was very important.
So when you say women are sometimes put to the side, does that mean that
Man's world. That's what I mean. It's still a man's world. That's what I mean.
So do you think women are still sometimes viewed as second-class citizens?
Some do, but we're pushing our way. We have some that are very strong, like myself, and a couple of the officers and radio personalities that I work with are very strong individual, and we're making a name for ourselves. But sometimes I feel that women are put on the back burner because they are women.
Well, like many of the officers told me that I interviewed, that they've always known that being a police officer was a quote-unquote man's job, but that didn't stop them or intimidate them, like you said, because they're strong women, from coming into this, not only coming into this area, but thriving in this area. I met my first black lieutenant woman today, and I thought that was absolutely amazing, and it made me just feel proud to be in this lady's presence. And I told her I understand that you've been through a lot to get to where you are in the 26 years you've been doing this. So how does it make you feel to be able to get all of these women together and they're just as happy to be here as you are to have them here?
Man, I just felt like a mother giving birth to something. Whenever you bring people together, period, you know, it's awesome. I think we have Forest Park, Clayton County, and Lake City and Monroe here, but I want to reach out to Atlanta, Decatur. You know, hopefully next year, like I say, this thing get bigger and bigger, and I'm hoping to see not only police officers but state patrol, sheriff, female FBI. So you know, those are my goals. Those are my dreams.
Okay. And what do you think that we as a society need to do in general to bring about more equality for men and women?
Lifting each other up, being more positive, speaking more positive, just living your dream day by day. And also, if you can't do it for yourself, make sure that you do it for someone else.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, do you have any other upcoming events?
Definitely. Things are in the making. I'm always doing something for men and women in radio, especially women in radio, because, you know, even with that, how many females have their own syndicated radio shows? So even though we came a long ways, we still have a long ways to go.
Okay, well, I appreciate the work that you do with the radio station and the work that you do in the community. I think this is an absolutely wonderful event. And like I said, the lady officers that I interviewed, they are absolutely ecstatic to be here and to be recognized by someone for the work that they do. So thank you very much, Ms. Hill. Keep up the great work.
Beautiful interview.
Thank you, ma'am. Vince Cheeks with WCEG Wood. We're out. Peace. Good afternoon. I am Vince Cheeks with WCEG Wood, the Hollywood of the South. We are here in Lake City, Georgia, at the event to recognize women in public safety. I am here with Evangelist Jazzy. How are you doing today, ma'am?
I'm blessed, sir. How are you?
I am extremely blessed and blessed to be in the presence of such a wonderful, godly woman.
Hallelujah. You know what it is.
You know what it is. I absolutely love it. So tell the people what it is you do and what brings you out to the event to recognize women in public safety.
Well, first of all, this is my community, so I'm very connected with the community here in the Clayton County, Forest Park, Monroe, Lake City area. So I'm here as a representative for Streets 989 Atlanta. Okay. I am a radio personality. I'm also an evangelist. I also am a poet. I'm an author. I'm a little bit of everything. Okay. But the reason that I'm here today is to support my friends at WCEG and also D Hill. Okay. So that is why I'm here.
Okay, well, thank you. We appreciate the support, appreciate you coming out. And I know the many officers that are here definitely appreciate the support. So what do you think about an event that is specifically being put on to recognize the women in public safety?
I actually think that this is an awesome opportunity for us in media and as well as just regular citizens to come out and show just how much we do appreciate our female officers and everything that they're doing for our community. It's hard just being a woman, as I can say, since I am one, but to be a woman in public service is an awesome experience. And the ladies that I've had the opportunity to speak with today have some tremendous stories to share.
Yes, they do. And I spoke with Dee Hill a few minutes ago, the organizer for this event, and she stated that we still have a long way to go to bring the equity and equality between men and women that it needs to be. What do you think about that?
Well, I mean, I sincerely agree with what that statement was that she said. However, I think that in our society, there will always be some type of imbalance, whether it's a sex, class, or whatever, because there are levels in our life.
Right.
And unfortunately, we have been established for hundreds of years, and it's hard to change the mindset of Americans.
It is. I agree with that. I agree. But you think we'll always have that imbalance? Like, you don't think it'll ever be, I don't even want to say 100%, but close to 100%?
Well, speaking from a woman's point of view, I absolutely do not think it will ever change.
Okay. Well, what can men do to help to facilitate that?
It really has nothing whatsoever to do with the male and the female. It's just about our society and how it's established and the levels of respect that one is given based on their sex.
Gotcha.
So it's not like you guys can do anything in particular or we can do anything in particular. As I mentioned earlier, I just feel like it will always be an issue with some type of imbalance in the sexes.
Okay, well,
that's just my personal opinion.
Right, yeah. I mean, and with capitalism, the way it was set up, I mean, it was created so that there would be imbalance. There had to be someone at the top tier and someone in the lower tier, but that's another conversation. But back to this specific event, do you think we have a good number of women in public safety, or do you think there can be more and that we need to continue to grow that field with women coming into that field?
I actually believe that we are definitely in need of more women in public safety and in different levels of public safety, not just being quote unquote detectives or policemen, but actually being police chiefs, police superintendents, and on up.
Okay. Yeah. So you think we need more women in the leadership positions?
Exactly.
In public safety.
Exactly.
That may be a fact because one of the other officers mentioned that earlier. So we need to work on that, getting some more women into the positions of power, if you will. Leadership that will garner or bring about some type of balance. And the way she put it was having a balance of being firm and compassionate.
When it comes to being a police officer or a public service representative, there is always going to be some imbalance because women are not as strong as men. And unfortunately, we have situations that arise that makes it where only a man can handle that particular situation. So, it's always, that's what I say, it's a combination of things, but we all work together to make it a whole, right?
Right, yes. Okay, and before we get out of here, is there anything you'd like to say to these women officers here or to Dee Hill for putting on this wonderful event?
I would just like to commend Dee Hill. She's a phenomenal woman, and she's a phenomenal woman in radio, and she's always reaching out and giving to the community, and that's what's important. She's never, ever asking for anything. She's always been a giver ever since I've met her. And as far as to the police officer, women police officers that are here, and detectives, lieutenants, etc., I salute them, and I just say, continue to do your job to your best ability, and may God continue to protect you.
Thank you very much. Evangelist Jazzy, thank you for being here, ma'am, and you have a great one.
Many blessings.
Yes, ma'am. Vincent Cheeks with WCEG Wood. We're signing out. Peace. Good afternoon. I am Vincent Cheeks with WCEG Wood, the Hollywood of the South. We are here in Lake City, Georgia, at the event to recognize women in public safety. I have a very special guest here with me. He is one of the council members of Lake City, Georgia, and he goes by the name of Mr. Chris Craven. How are you, sir?
Doing fine. How are you doing?
I am doing absolutely wonderful. Tell the people your title and what it is exactly you do as a council.
I'm just a councilman for Lake City, Georgia, and we serve the public and try to pass laws that's going to help the city and ordinances.
Okay. You do anything with the money?
No.
No?
We dictate where we can spend it back and forth a little bit there.
Just giving a little insight to the people as to what a council member does.
Yeah, we just passed a park, building a new park over there, redoing it for our people.
Okay, where's the park going to be?
It's over here on Phillips Drive across from the elementary school.
Okay, on Phillips Drive across from the elementary school.
Gonna have the kids from the school come out and enjoy the park, and we have a pollination park in there where the bees and they can come out and study that.
Okay. And bees are important because I understand that they're being killed off and dying off, and bees are very important in helping us with our ecosystem and helping us to stay alive, correct?
Yep, it is. Gonna have butterflies, plants, and just everything the kids can just come over and look at. And gonna have a playground out there fenced in where the kids can come.
Okay. All right. And so we're here at the event to recognize women in public safety. What are you thinking about an event like this that is specifically designed to recognize the women in public safety?
I agree with it 100%. I think we need to recognize the ladies, and they're doing just as good a job as anybody else. Sometimes I think they do a little better than the rest.
Okay. And now let me ask you this, because I interviewed a couple of officers that had locks in their hair like mine, and the first thing it made me think was that the police departments and the city is becoming a little bit more progressive when it comes to things like locks and tattoos. Is it that the city and the departments are becoming more progressive, or is it they're just not putting a microscope on what some consider to be little things like hair and tattoos?
I believe they're coming a little bit more progressive and getting up. This is the times now for the locks, the tattoos, the generations coming up. That's their thing now. So, it's just a little incentive maybe to help get the new kids and teenagers out and join the force and help the people.
Yeah, I think it's absolutely great. I thought when I saw the two officers with I had never seen officers with locks before, and I'm 44 years old, so I thought that was wonderful. And to me, it showed progressiveness, and it showed that the police departments are giving a little bit more leeway for people to be individuals and express themselves individually, and I think that's absolutely wonderful.
I agree.
So keep up the great work.
Yep.
So, for any woman that may be considering going into law enforcement, what advice would you have for them?
I really don't know. You can just go to school, get you a good education, come out, and go to the academy and just protect the people. That's
get your education.
Yeah, you got me mixed up.
No, you're good. Get your education and protect the people. That is what you should be doing anyway in life. Well, thank you very much, Councilman Craven. We appreciate your time and appreciate your service you enjoy. Thank you, sir. Good afternoon. I am Vincent Cheeks with WCEG Wood, the Hollywood of the South. We are here in Lake City, Georgia, at the event to recognize women in public safety. I am here with the very beautiful, the one, the only, the Sergeant, Miss Karen Carr. How are you today, ma'am?
Hi, how are you?
I am doing wonderful, and I'd like to say your face paint looks absolutely wonderful.
Thank you.
So how long have you been in public service?
20 years.
Oh, wow.
August 9th.
That's August 9th. That just passed. Well, congratulations and happy, what is the anniversary? Do we say anniversary? Well, happy anniversary for 20 years in public service. We appreciate you and all that you do and have done. Thank you very much. So, what do you think of an event like this that is specifically designed to recognize and honor women in public safety?
This is a great idea because women in law enforcement is a small group anyway. Okay. And the public has a perception of how the women are in law enforcement. Right. So this shows that we're women. And we're people too. Yeah. So that's important.
Yeah. And I'm glad you said you're people too, because we wanted to put your face paint on the camera so that we can show that the officers are human and that they are people too, and they like to smile and have a good time, and it looks absolutely wonderful. So thank you. So I spoke to one of the officers earlier, and they said they would like to see more women in the leadership positions. What do you think about a statement like that?
That's a powerful statement. My girlfriend and I was talking about that very subject on the way down here. Okay. She's a lieutenant at a different agency. Okay. She walked into a room, it was only men. And that's usually how it is. Right. When I go to training classes, it's only predominantly men. Okay. Maybe one or two women out of a room full of men. I think that women need to become a leader in law enforcement, but I don't know that they want to try. I recently tested for a lieutenant. Okay. But it took me a long time to become a sergeant. Okay. For various reasons. Okay. So I think from that standpoint, from how I was a little taken back from going forward. Okay. So with it taking you a long time to become a sergeant, do you think that was a gender thing, a race thing, combination of both, or a lot of things? What was it? I think it was a lot of things. Okay. It was the belief in how the department handles things. Being the only black female, that was an issue. Okay. A challenge, really, okay. Not an issue. Okay. So I would just say a combination of things. Okay. Those being the most important factors. Okay. And if there are any women that wanted to come into this profession and they might be a little on the edge, what advice would you give them or say to them to make being a woman in public safety attractive to them? Women can do this job as long as you're eager to learn and trainable. The guys will end up treating you like a guy. And they'll be your support group. So if you're interested in being in law enforcement, just do it. Take a leap of faith. Like that shoe brand says, just do it. Look, my producer looking at me like, don't say the name. And so, do you have any words for Ms. Hill, who put on this event? I really appreciate this event. The lieutenant from Clayton County said it best. We appreciate being appreciated. And thank you. We need to have another event. The next one, each one will grow. So the next event, more women will show up. Okay. And back to the leadership position quick. In order to get more women in there, is this something that the women need to do to get into those positions, or is it something that the men need to do to be able to allow more women to come into those positions? We need to do it. We just need to get into those positions. We need to test for it. We need to want to do it. We need to want to make a difference. Okay. Well, I appreciate you. I appreciate your 20 years of service, Sergeant. Thank you very much. Enjoy the event, and you look beautiful with your face painting on there. Thank you. I am Vincent Cheeks with WCEG Wood, signing out. Peace.
Good afternoon. I am Vincent Cheeks with WCEG Wood, the Hollywood of the South. We are here in Lake City, Georgia, at the event to recognize women in public safety. I am here with one of said women, Officer Taylor. How are you, ma'am? I am doing absolutely wonderful. So you are an officer, a woman in public safety, correct?
Yeah, I am.
And how long have you been in public safety?
2 years.
What prompted you to want to be a police officer?
I wanted to help people. So after I got out of the Navy, I just became a cop. I've been here since.
So you're military and police officer. And so what is the biggest difference between being in the military and being a police officer?
There's not really a big difference. Either way, you're helping people. So it's the same. That's why I love it so much.
Okay. And so we're here today at the event to recognize women in public safety. Why is an event like this important?
It makes us feel really, really appreciated, you know? We don't get that often, so.
When you say you don't get that often, do you not get it from the department, from the community, or?
Sometimes it's the community, you know, it's just the look on law enforcement. You don't see a woman, you see a guy. Right. So, yeah.
And do you think that there's been a lot of progress made over the years in increasing the number of women in police departments?
I do.
Mm-hmm. What do you think about the job of police officer that has been traditionally a male's job? Why do you think more women are becoming attracted to it?
Oh, I feel like a woman can do everything that a man can do.
She feels like a woman can do everything a man can do. And you're absolutely right. I totally agree that. And I believe that is the sentiment of many of the women that I have interviewed here today. Yes. So do you think there's enough women in the leadership positions in law enforcement?
No, I don't.
What can we do to change that?
Let's start promoting these women. You know, well, for one, most departments are male dominant. You know, I think that's an issue as well. But that's really the issue. That's really.
So we have to slip in there on the lower levels first to get the numbers as far as women, and then the more women that we get in, we can possibly elevate them to the leadership position. I like that strategy. I like that strategy. So what do we need to do? How do we make this job attractive to more women? Like what do we tell them to get them to say, don't be a teacher, don't be a lawyer. No, we need officers.
Women, they see, the more and more they'll want to, you know, come into this job.
And what kind of challenges, being a woman, would some women face coming into this male-dominated position?
You're not looked at. A male is. I don't know how to explain it, but
Let me ask you this. Do you think women are still looked at as second-class citizens?
Yes, I do.
I think, because you're the second person to say that, I think that's a little strong. Let me say, I don't feel that way. I respect women.
Well, yeah, but I mean, in reality, I feel women are.
So, is it more onus on women to prove that they're capable to be in those positions, or do more men need to realize that it's just not all about the male in the position and know that women can do it also? Or is it a give and take on both sides?
Both, you know, because we prove it all the time that we're fit to do the job. You know, it's all about, you know, getting respected as that. So.
And last question, for any woman out there that may be considering a position in public safety, what advice would you have for them?
We're hiring at the Forest Park Police Department.
Come get this job, come get this money, because they taking application today, okay? Well, thank you very much, Ms. Taylor. We appreciate your service. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Have a blessed day. I'm Vince Cheeks with WCEG Wood. We're signing out. Peace.